When I drove to my parents' house that Thanksgiving, I told myself I wasn't going for approval. I was going because it was still home or something close to it. My daughter slept against my chest in her carrier, her breath warm through the thin cotton of my sweater. I had practiced neutral responses the whole drive. If they asked about her father, I'd say, "We're not together." If they asked about my job, I'd say, "It's stable." If they asked nothing at all, I would still sit at the table and pass the potatoes like nothing had cracked. The sign was taped at eye level. Family dinner, no single moms allowed. At first, I read it the way you read something that doesn't apply to you, like a joke that hasn't landed yet. Then I read it again. The house smelled faintly of sage and roasted turkey. Someone inside laughed. My brother's voice, maybe. There was music playing. Normal life. Continuing confidently on the other side of a door that had just drawn a clean line through me. My daughter stirred. I adjusted her blanket. For a few seconds, I considered knocking anyway, forcing them to own it, making them say it to my face. But the sign was already a sentence. I didn't need to hear it spoken. I stood there longer than I'm proud of. Not because I was shocked, because I was calculating. Something quiet was rearranging itself inside me. Not anger, not even hurt exactly. Just a realization that I had been applying for membership in a place where I held more weight than they did. I set the pumpkin pie I'd brought on the porch table. Next to it, I placed the box I had wrapped the night before. I had almost not brought it. It felt too procedural for a holiday. Too cold. But cold was better than begging. I didn't knock. I drove home before anyone looked out the window. That night, I fed my daughter in the half-dark and let myself feel it fully. The humiliation, yes, but also the strange lightness underneath. They had finally said it out loud. They had made the boundary visible. The next morning, my phone started ringing before 8. I let it go to voicemail the first 3 times. By the 4th, I answered. "What did you do?" my mother demanded. Not crying, not apologizing, demanding. In the background, I could hear movement, raised voices, my father saying my name sharply as if I were in the next room instead of across town. "I left a gift," I said. "You can't do this," she said. I closed my eyes. There it was. Not "why would you do this?" Not "we're sorry," just
"You can't." Yes, I said I can. Inside the box had been no glitter, no dramatic letter, just a manila folder, a copy of the deed to the house, my name printed cleanly beneath my grandfather's signature from 7 years ago. He had transferred it to me quietly after my college graduation, a decision he told me about during one of his long afternoon talks when he would test my patience with stories about real estate and leverage, and the importance of having something no one could take from you. "You're the only one who listens," he had said, "and you're the only one who won't sell it out of impulse." At the time, I thought it was symbolic, sentimental. After he passed, I let my parents continue living there. They paid taxes, I paid for repairs when needed. It was easier that way. I wasn't ready to disturb the arrangement until yesterday. Also inside the folder was a formal 60-day notice of sale, legally reviewed, filed that morning. They had 60 days to vacate. "Your father built this house," my mother said into the phone. "No," I said gently, "Grandpa did." Silence stretched, then shouting again. Muffled as she covered the receiver, "You're punishing us," she came back with. I thought about that, the sign on the door, the casual boldness of it, the way it assumed I would absorb the insult quietly and return next year hopeful again. "I'm selling a property I own," I said, "that's all." "You would throw your family out with a baby?" That almost made me laugh. "I wasn't invited," I said. Remember, there it was again, not rage, not tears, just fact meeting fact. By noon, my brother texted, then my aunt, then a cousin I hadn't spoken to in years. Some accused me of being dramatic, others said my parents were embarrassed and hadn't meant it like that. One suggested I reconsider for the sake of unity. Unity had been conditional for a long time. I fed my daughter again, changed her, watched her blink at the ceiling fan as if none of this existed. And I felt something settle deeper inside me. Not triumph, but steadiness. I hadn't screamed on the porch, I hadn't torn the sign down. I hadn't demanded entry, I had simply stopped auditioning. The next week, I met with the realtor. Papers were signed in a quiet office that smelled like coffee and toner. My daughter slept beside me in her stroller while I initialed Majins. My phone buzzed twice during the appointment. I silenced it. Later, my father called. His voice was different, lower. You're serious? Yes. A pause. You choose this over us. The question land.